शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्ज सम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. लोकवीर्यं महापूज्यं सर्वरक्षाकरं विभुं पार्वतीहृदयानन्दं शास्तारं प्रणमाम्यहं। स्वामिये शरणमय्यप्पा। वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी द्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरधाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചനാനിന്നോടായി ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പീടേണ്ടാത്തോറു പ്രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so we'll start with the review of 51 and 52. Priyam, can you do one, and Baiju, you can do the second.
कदाचन वज्रशिशुभिः समं भवान् वनाशने विहितमनिः प्रजेतरां समावृतो बहुतरवत्समण्डलैः सथेमनैर्निरगमदीशचेमनैः.
The second line and the first line, however you have it, the last word, pragetaram.
Pragetara. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
विनिर्यतस्तव चरणाम्बुजा त्वयात् उदञ्चितं त्रिभुवनपावनं व्रजः महर्षियः पुलकदरैर्कलेबरैः उदूहिरे धृतभवदीक्षणोत्सवाः प्रचारयत्य विरल शाद्वलेथले पशून विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरे न्यरुणदया दगाय वर्तनीं भयानकः सपदि शयानकाकृतिः.
The third line of our Aga Suro. Is it Sure? Suro. Aga Suro.
महाचल मतनोर्गुहा निब प्रसारित प्रतितमुखस्य कानने मुखोदरं विहरन कौतुकाद् गताः कुमारक किमपि विदूरगे त्वयि प्रमादतः प्रविशति पन्नगोदरं क्वतन् क्वतत्तनो पशुपकुले सवात्सखे विधन्निधं त्वमपि विवेशित प्रभो सुहृज्जनं विशरणमाशु रक्षितुम् गलोदरे विपुलितवर्ष्मणा त्वया महोरगे लुटति निरुद्धमारुते द्रुतं भवान् विदलितखण्डमण्डलो विमोचयन् पशून् विनिर्ययौ क्षणं दिवि त्वदुपगमार्तमास्तितं महासुरप्रभव महो महत् विनिर्गते त्वयि तु लीनमज्जसा नभस्थले नृतुरतो गहुसुराः.
Last one, Jagusuraha.
Jagusuraha. Okay. And அது முன்னாடி word எப்படி சொல்ற? நன்று துரத்தோவா?
You said it correct only. Yeah. Nandru tu rato. Nandru tu rato.
Okay, thank you. Savismayai kamala bhavadibhisuraihi anudruta tadanugatah kumarakaihi dine punastarunadasha मुपेयुषी स्वकैर्भवान् तदनुभोजनोत्सकम्.
The last word, Swakair Bhavan Athanuta. Break it at that. Na. Bhavan Athanuta.
Athanuta, okay. Bhavan Athanuta.
Yeah.
Vipani kamapi muralim nitam bakhe vike निवेशयन् कबलधरः कराम्बुजे प्रहासयन् कलवचनै कुमारकान् बुभोजित त्रिदशगणैर्मुदानुतः.
First word, Priyam. Yeah. Vishani, Sha sound. Vishani Kamapi.
Okay. Vishani Kamapi. Okay. Sukhasanam Tvihatava Gopamandale Mukashanat Priyamiva Meva Mandale Itistuta Stridasha Varairgata Pate Marut Murali Nilaya Gadat Prapahimam.
Second line, makashanat. You said mu sound is a makashanat. Okay. Good.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha.
Rajesh ji, the first one, Vanashane Vihita Matif Pragetaram, right?
Yeah, Pragetaram. Which stanza is it? Yeah, but that is correct.
The first one.
Yeah, Pragetaram. Yeah.
Vihita Matif, right?
Vihita Matif, F sound.
Okay.
Matif.
अन्यावतार निकिरेष्व निरीक्षितं ते भूमातिरेकमपि वीक्ष्य तथा मोक्षे ब्रह्मा परीक्षितुमना सपरोक्ष भावं निन्येत वत्सक गणान् प्रवितत्य मायाम्.
Baiju, the first line, Nikareshwa.
Okay, Nikareshwa.
I heard Niki sound. Key sound, it's Nikareshwa.
Okay. वत्सान वीक्ष्य विवशे पशुपोत्करे तान् आनेतु काम इव दादृमतानुवर्ती त्वं सामि भुक्त कबलो गतवांस्ततानीं भुक्तां स्थिरोतित सरोज भव कुमारान् वत्सायितस्तदनु गोभगणायितस्त्वं शिक्यादिभाण्डमुरली गबलातिरूपः प्राग्वद्विहृत्य विपिनेषु चिराय सायं त्वं माययात बहुधा व्रजमाययाथा त्वामेव शिक्य गवलातिमयं दधानो भूयस्त्वमेव पशुवत्सकबालरूपः गोरूपिणीभिरपि गोपवधूमयीभिः आसादितोऽसि जननीभिरधिप्रहर्षात् जीवं हि कञ्चिदभिमानवशास्वकीयं मत्वा तनूज इति रागभरं वहन्त्यः आत्मानमेव तु भवन्तमवाप्य सूनुं प्रीतिं ययुर्न कियतीं वनिताश्च गावः एवं प्रदक्षिण विजृम्भित हर्षभारनिःशेष गोपगणलालित भूरिमूर्तिं त्वामग्रजोऽपि बुबुधे किल वत्सरान्ते ब्रह्मात्मनोरपि महान् युवयोर्विशेषः वर्षावतौ नवपुरातन वत्सपालान् दृष्ट्वा विवेकमसृणे द्रुहिणे विमूढे प्रादीदृश प्रतिनवान् मकुटाङ्गदादि भूषांश्चतुर्भुजयुजः सजलाम्बुदाभान् प्रत्येकमेव कमला परिलालिताङ्कान् भोगीन्द्रभोगशयनान् नयनाभिरामान् लीलानिमीलिनदृश सनकादियोगि व्यासेवितान् कमलभूर्भवतो ददर्श नारायणाकृतिमसङ्ख्यतमां निरीक्ष्य सर्वत्र सेवकमपि स्वमवेक्ष्य दाता मायानिमग्नहृदयो विमुमोह यावत् एको बभूवित तथा कबलार्धपाणिः.
So Baiju, there the last two lines are not together. After yavat, there is a pause.
Okay, thank you. नश्यन्मदे तदनु विश्वपतिं मुहुस्त्वां नत्वा च नूतवति दादरिदामयाते पोते समं प्रमुदितै प्रविशन्निकेतं वातालयातिप विभो परिपाहि रोगात्. Sri Krishna.
All right, we'll get started at 53. Lakshmi, you can be a student, and Girish, you can be a student. So 53 is Dhenukasura Vadavarnanam. So it's small, Dasakam, small, like most of this 40s. Atitya balyam jagatam pate tvam upetya pauganda vayo manognyam upeksha vatsavanam utsavena pravartata goganapalanayam. So last class when we saw the Aghasura Vadavarnanam and then Brahma stealing the calves, Vatsapahara Varnanam, we said at that time Krishna was 5 years old, but then I said, but when they repeated the incident of the Aghasura incident, they had already turned 6. So 1 year had passed, but they said it as if it happened on that day. So here the Pauganda is refers to the age between 6 to 10. right? So it is just first, Balya Vayas is like 1 to 5, and then Pauganda is age 6 to 10. So now they have reached that milestone of transitioning to 6 years old. So that is what happened in the previous Dasakam. So anyway, so now the boys having reached 6 years old, so they're graduating. So previously they were only going to graze calves. So now they have been upgraded to now take the cows along. At the age of 6, they can actually go graze cows, right? Now we are just going to kindergarten at that time. So anyway, so they are now going and grazing cows. And with that, so they're all very excited because they now have more responsibility because they've been promoted. So with that, we all decide to go and graze the cows now. Atitya Balyam Jagatam Pate Tvam. So put a im there, that ma, comma. Next word starts with the u. Upetya Pauganda Vayo Manognyam. Upekshya Vatsavanam, breaking at that ma, Vatsavanam Utsavena. So with Utsavam is with a lot of enthusiasm. So they're just going there. Utsavena, comma. Pravartata Go Gana Palanayam. Atitya Bhalyam Jagatam Pate Tvam. Upetya Pauganda Vayo Manognyam. Upeksha Vatsavanam Utsavena. Pravartata Go Gana Palanayam.
Atitya Balyam Jagatam Pade Tvam Upetya Paukandavayo Manognyam Upeksha Vatsavanam Utsavena Pravartata Kogana Palanayam. Atitya Balyam Jagatam Pate Tvam Upetya Paukandavayo Manognyam Upeksha Vatsavanam Utsavena Pravartata Kogana Palanayam.
Athiya Balyam Jagatam Pate Tvam Upetya Paugandavayo Manogyam Upekshya Vatsavanam Utsavena Pravartata Gogana Palanayam. Atitya Balyam Jagatam Pate Tvam Upetya Paugandavayo Manogyam Upeksha Vatsavanam Utsavena Pravartata Gogana Palanayam.
Answer 2. Upakramasyanu gunaiva sehyam marutpuradhisha tava pravrittihi gotra paritrana krite vatirnaha tadeva devara bhatastadayate. Just a little bit, because they're all excited, they all go there. So, but the part is just saying that here there are two words which are used, with the same meaning. So the word gotra here it means earth. It could also mean cows. So he says, Krishna, your primary purpose of the incarnation is to protect the earth, gotra. So the first step to be able to protect the earth is to protect the cows, which is gotra. So with that, you are excited. So this is like a first step towards what your incarnation is. So you all are going there and you're there to protect the cows and you go taking the cows grazing. Upakramasyanu gunaiva. So cannot break that word. Upakramasyanu gunaiva seyam, comma. Marutpuradhisha tava pravrittihi, comma. Gotra paritrana kritevatirnaha. So that word is together, one word, kritevatirnaha. That is goes away, visarga, comma. Kritevatirnaha. Tadeva. The next word will come together. Devara bhatas. So for some of you in Sanskrit, it will show two S symbols. Devara bhatas tada yat.
Rajesh, Devara Patasa Padava.
Bhatas.
Is it towards the end there is an is sound, right?
Bhatas.
Okay.
Yeah, bhatas tada yat.
ராஜேஷ் அந்த ரெண்டு எஸ்க்கு என்ன அர்த்தம்?
அது வந்து அந்த ஆ இருக்கு இல்லையா, ஆ, when you say ஆர bhatas, okay, so when generally when there's a, in the previous word ends with the a and the next word also starts with the a, In Sanskrit, you don't put a as a word again. And you cannot put extra lines to say double a. Like if you know Sanskrit, I'm saying, like deva is just va. You put another line, becomes deva. And then you have two more a's coming, right? So they cannot put two additional lines, or you can't put a. That's just the way it is written. So they put double s to say it's a a.
Okay.
If it is one s, it's just a a. So another, you can just read the whole thing together because of that.
Okay. Thank you.
उपक्रमस्यानुगुणैव सेह्यं मरुत्पुराधीश तव प्रवृत्तिः गोत्रापरित्राणकृतेऽवतीर्णः तदेव देवारभतास्तदायत्
उपक्रमस्यानुगुणैव सेयं मरुत्पुराधीश तव प्रवृत्तिः गोत्रापरित्राणकृतेऽवतीर्णः तदेव देवारपदास्तदायत् उपक्रमस्यानुगुणैव सेयं मरुत्पुराधीश तव प्रवृत्तिः गोत्रापरित्राणकृतेऽवतीर्णः तदेव देवारपदास्तदायत्.
Lakshmi, in the first line, last word, pravrittihi.
Vrittihi. Sorry.
Vrittihi. Right, yeah.
Okay.
उपक्रमस्यानगुणैव सेयं मरुत्पुराधीश तव प्रवृत्तिः गोत्रापरित्राणकृतेऽवतीर्णः तदेव देवारभतास्तदायत् उपक्रमस्यानुगुणैव सेयं मरुत्पुराधीश तव प्रवृत्तिः गोत्रापरित्राणकृतेऽवतीर्णः तदेव देवारभतास्तदायत्.
कदापि रामेण समं वनान्ते वनश्रियं वीक्ष्य चरन् सुखेन श्रीधाम नाम्नः स्वसखस्य वाचा मोदादगाधेनुककाननं त्वम्. So because they're grazing cows now instead of calves, so they go to a different portion of Vrindavan forest, right? And here, it talks about how Krishna, the Vrindavan, the forest is giving them, it's enjoyment to all their senses, right? So because it's a nice forest, so the birds and the bees are all giving them sense pleasure to their ears. Then the wind is blowing from Yamuna, giving them senses to their touch. Then the smell because of the beautiful flowers and everything which is there. So and the eyes, of course, with all the beautiful forestry around. So they're all enjoying that forest there. So one day when they actually go there, right? So this one friend whose name will keep getting repeated. He comes for a few times, right? Krishna's friend. His name is Sri Dama. Nothing to do with Sudama on all of that. That's going to be later. So this is a person called Sri Dama who's just in Vrindavan, is one of close friend of Krishna and Rama. So one day when they actually go, so the Sri Rama says, that, I know because they are now grazing cows, they have more freedom to go farther than normal, right? So he says, I know this really good portion of the forest where there are some trees which produce very good fruits. So extremely very tasty fruits, which I've heard. So we should actually go there. So he recommends that they go to this place called Dhenuka Kananam, a forest called Dhenuka forest. And we should go and take the cows grazing there today. Kadapi Ramena Samam Vanante. So some places they specifically say Rama also goes, Balarama also goes. Sometimes they specifically say Rama doesn't come, which he won't go in 54. But in 53, Balarama is also going. Samam Vanante, Vanashriyam Vikshya Charan Sukhena Sridama Namnaha Putta is Namnas Swasakhasya Vacha, Modadaga Dhenuka Kananam Tvam. Kadapi Ramena Samam Vanante Vanashriyam Vikshya Charan Sukhena Sridama Namna Swasakhasya Vacha Modadaga Dhenuka Kananam Tvam.
गतापि रामेण समं वनान्ते वनश्रियं वीक्ष्य चरन् सुखेन श्रीरामनाम्नः स्वसखस्य वाचा मोदादगाधेनुक मोदादकादेनुककाननं त्वं
Lakshmi,
गत
second line just before the comma, vacha, cha sound there, okay?
वाचा सरि ओके गतापिरामेण समं वनान्ते वनश्रियं वीक्ष्य चरन् सुखेन श्रीरामनाम्नः स्वसकस्य वाचा मूतातकादेनुक काननं त्वम्
कदापि रामेण समं वनान्ते वनश्रियं वीक्ष्य चरन् सुखेन श्रीधामनाम्नः स्वसखस्य वाचा मोदादगाधेनुककाननं त्वम्.
Girish, second line, and the namna, adukapram, there is a is, visarga will take a is sound. So we'll have two is coming there. Sridama namnas, namnas, swasakasya.
Okay. कदापि रामेण समं वनान्ते वनश्रियं वीक्ष्य चरन् सुखेन श्रीधाम्ननाम्नः स्वसखस्य वाचा मोदादगाधेनुककाननं त्वम्.
Support. उत्तालताली निवहे त्वदुक्त्या बलेन धूतेत बलेन धूर्भ्यां मृदुः खरश्चाभ्यपतत् पुरस्तात् फलोत्करोधेनुकधानवोऽपि. No, that forest was called Dhenuka forest because there lived a big, like a donkey, right? An ass, which is whose name was Dhenuka. So Dhenuka also means a donkey. So maybe just because of that, but they refer to that forest as that. And people have said not to go to that area because that donkey which is there, or supposedly a big sized animal like that, which actually kills people. So when you enter that forest, it's like its territory. It's got a whole herd. Its whole herd is there, and then it actually kills people when you go there. So the people have always been, the forest name is Talavana. That is the name of the forest. So it says don't go there because when you go there, the donkey kills people, eats people, and all that. So they've been prohibited from going there. But then these boys are tempted. They're like 6-year-old, 7-year-old boys, right? So they're like, oh, you know what? The fruits are very tasty. We should just go there. And they all get tempted by it, and then they all tell Krishna that, you know what, we should all go there. And they say, yeah, sure, like we are big boys now, we have cows. And so they all decide to go there, although knowing that, that place is there, they end up going to that forest. And they go to that forest, and first Balarama, who's actually shaking the trees so that the fruits actually start falling down. So when he begins shaking the trees, then the Dhenuka begins to come there. Uttala Tali Nivahe Twaduktya, Balena Dhuteta Balena Dorbhyam Mruduh. Mruduhu is there, put a ich sound. Mruduh Kharash Chabya Patat Purastat, Phalotkaro Dhenuka Danavopi. Uttalatali Nivahe Twaduktya Balena Dhuteta Balena Dorbhyam Mruduh Kharaschabhya Patat Purastat Phalotkaro-dhenuka-danavopi.
उत्तालतालि निवहेत्वदुक्त्या बलेन दूतेत बलेन दोर्भ्यां मृदुः करश्चाप्यपतत्पुरस्तात् बलोत्करोतेनुकदानवोऽपि. उत्तालतालि निवहेत्वदुक्त्या बलेन दूते तपलेन दोर्भ्यां मृदुः करश्चाप्यपतत्पुरस्तात् बलोत्करोतेनुकदानवोऽपि.
उत्तालताली निवहेत्वदुक्त्या बलेन धूतेत बलेन दोर्भ्यां मृदः खरश्चाभ्यपतत् पुरस्तात् फलोत्करोधेनुकदानवोऽपि. उत्तालताली निवहेत्वदुक्त्या बलेन धूतेत बलेन दोर्भ्यां मृदः
Mridu. And the word mridu. Mriduh.
मृदुः करश्चाभ्य पतत्पुरस्तात् पुरस्तात् फलोत्करो धेनुकदानवोऽपि
That's fine. Samudhyato dhainukapalaneham katam vadham dhainukamadhya kurve itiva matva dhruvamagrajena suraugayodharam ajighanastvam. So at that time, this Denuka, that donkey, whatever, it always comes and it attacks people there and it actually kills people. So, so these boys just thought they could get away by going there and getting the fruits and running away. But then the Denuka comes. Denuka comes and first he then goes and kicks Balarama on his chest, and then he immediately begins to attack because that is his territory. So here it says Krishna tells Balarama, at least that's what it is. It's being said like this. Krishna says that I am supposed to see. All these words have multiple meanings. Okay, the word Dhenuka means it is like a donkey or an ass. That is the meaning of Dhenuka. Dhenu means cow. So Krishna says, I am in the duty of protecting cows, Dhenu, because of which I will not do anything to Dhenuka. So Balarama, it is your responsibility to take care of this Dhenuka today. So with that, Krishna, you don't do anything to that. And then you tell Balarama that you take care of this Dhenuka. So Balarama now holds Dhenuka. When Dhenuka is kicking with his hoofs, with his front legs, he holds Dhenuka and then swirls him and then throws him away. Samudhyato dhainuka palaneham, katam vadham dhainuka madhya kurve itiva matva dhruvam agrajena, suraugha yodharam, you can break at that ma, yodharam ajighanas tvam. So that ma I'm just breaking im and a, yodharam ajighanas tvam. Samudhyato dhainukapalaneham katham vadham dhainukamadhya kurve itiva matva dhruvamagrajena suraugayodharam ajighanastvam.
समुद्यतो दैनुकपालनेऽहं गतं पदं दैनुकमद्य कुर्वे इतीव मत्वा ध्रुवम् अग्रजेन सुरौकयोतारम् अजीगनस्त्वम् समुद्यतो दैनुकपालनेऽहं कथं वतं दैनुकमद्य कुर्वे इतीव मत्वा ध्रुवम् अग्रजेन सुरौकयोतारम् अजीगनस्त्वम्.
Ajishji, the last word ajigata or na?
Ajighanastvam.
Nastvam.
Na, yeah. Ajighanastvam.
समुद्यतो धैनुकपालनेऽहं कथं वदं धैनुकमद्य कुर्वे इतीव मत्वा ध्रुवम् अग्रजेन सुरैगयोद्धारम् अजीघनस्त्वम्.
Last part, Suraugha.
Okay. समुद्यतो धैनुकपालनेऽहं कथं वदं धैनुकमद्य कुर्वे इतीव मत्वा ध्रुवमग्रजेन सुरौघयोद्धारम् अजीघनस्त्वम्.
Then 6. Tadiya bhrityanapi jambukatvenopagatanagраjasamyutastvam jambuphalaniva tadha nirastaha taleshu khelan bhagavan nirastaha. So then Balarama then takes that the Dhenuka and then he swirls it around and then throws it onto a big tree. So when he lands on the tree, that ends up crashing a few other trees and all of that stuff. And all the other the asses, the donkeys which are there also end up coming and they end up doing the same thing to all of them. Essentially, they go and throw everything out. And when that happens, so here the words a little bit are being loosely used. The jambu here is being used also. Jambu means a jackal. Okay. Now, of course, this is not a jackal, but when you say a herd, they say with that they're using that word loosely, saying with that they go and throw it, and all the fruits now start falling because they throw it on the trees, so the fruits end up falling from there. Tadiya bhrityanapi. So the next word, we're going to say that line together. Okay. So Jambukatve Nopagatan. Up to that is one word. Jambukatve Nopagatan. So that na we're breaking into in and a. So Jambukatve Nopagatan Agraja Samyutas Tvam. Okay, so that whole line is together. Jambu Phalaniva Tada Nirastaha. The Visarga goes away. And Visarga is goes away. Visarga comma Nirastaha. Thaleshu Khelan Bhagavan Nirastaha. So those was jambu fruits which were actually there in all the trees. So all of that ends up falling.
Rajesh, quick question.
Mm.
The first line, Agrajas Samyustavam. அது வந்து Agrajas.
Agraja kapram there is no is. It's Agraja
okay.
Samyutastvam.
Okay.
तदीयभृत्यानभिजम्बुकत्वेनोपागतान् अग्रजसंयुतस्त्वं जम्बूफलानीव तदा निरास्तः तालेषु खेलन् भगवन् निरास्तः.
Rajesh, just a quick question.
Yeah.
So the first sentence, you're just reading it like all together. There is no.
Yeah, because the break, the way that word breaks is Jambukatvena. Okay. Upagatan.
Okay.
Okay, so unless we if you actually break it, it becomes tadiya bhrityana bijambukatwena upagatan agraja. So that's why we're just joining it together. Okay, so that's why that word goes together. Jambukatve nopagatan.
Okay, thank you.
तदीय प्रत्यानभिजम्बुकत्वेनोपागतान् अग्रज संयुतस्त्वं जम्बूफलानीव तथा அது டியூன் போயிடுது.
That's okay.
Okay. जम्बूफलानीव तथा निरास्तः तालेषु केलन् भगवन् निरास्तः.
Yes, tadiya bhrityana bijambukatvenopagatan agraja samyutastvam.
Oh. तदीयभृत्यानभिजम्बुकत्वेनोपागतान् अग्रजसंयुतस्त्वं जम्बूफलानिव तथा निरास्तः तालेषु केलन् भगवन्निरास्तः.
तदीयभृत्यानपि जम्बुकत्वेनोपागतान् अग्रजसंयुतस्त्वं जम्बूफलानीव तदा निरास्तः तालेषु खेलन् भगवन् निरास्तः तदीयभृत्यानपि जम्बुकत्वेनोपागतान् अग्रजसंयुतस्त्वं जम्बूफलानीव तदा निरास्तः तालेषु खेलन् भगवन् निरस्तः.
And the first line towards the end, Girish, samyutastvam.
Agreja samyutastvam.
Yeah,
okay.
And the samyutasam. 7 and 8, I'll say the meaning together. Vinignati tvayata jambukaugham, sanama katvad varunas tadanim bhayakulo jambuka nama dheyam, shruti prasiddham vyaditeti manye. Vinignate tvayata jambukaugham sanamakatvad varunastadhanim bhayakulo jambuka nama dheyam shruti prasiddham vyaditeti manye.
विनिघ्नति त्वय्यत जम्बुकौकं सनामकत्वात् वरुणस्तदानीं भयाकुलो जम्बुकनामधेयं श्रुतिप्रसिद्धं व्ययति तेधि मन्ये. व्यदितेधि मन्ये विनिघ्नति त्वय्यत जम्बुकौकं सनामकत्वात् वरुणस्तदानीं भयाकुलो जम्बुकनामधेयं श्रुतिप्रसिद्धं व्यतितेति मन्ये.
विनिघ्नति त्वय्यत जम्बुकौघं सनामकत्वाद् वरुणस्तदानीं भयाकुलो जम्बुकनामधेयं श्रुतिप्रसिद्धं व्यदितोति मन्ये. व्यदितेति मन्ये. विनिघ्नति त्वय्यत जम्बुकौघं सनामकत्वाद वरुणस्तदानीं भयाकुलो जम्बुकनामधेयं श्रुतिप्रसिद्धं व्यतितेति मन्ये.
तवावतारस्य फलं मुरारे सञ्जातमद्येति सुरैर्नुतस्त्वं सत्यं फलं जातमिहेतिहासि बालैः समं तालफलान्यभुङ्क्ताः. So you can see because all those multiple of those donkeys came like jackals, which were coming in herd. So these boys, Krishna and Balarama, took all of them and threw it away. So because they are like jackal, the word is jambuka, right? So here he's just making a pun saying that Varuna, the god of water, has another name called Jambuka. So that Jambuka, that word is prasiddham in Shruti, which means it is it's very famous in Vedas, but nobody knows that word of Varuna called as Jambuka. So here he's just making a joke kind of thing, saying that because Varuna wanted that name to be hidden, because he was worried that this Krishna and Balarama are throwing every of those Jambukas out. So he said, let that name remain a secret because he's worried that if his name is Jambuka, he'll also get thrown out. So he's just making a joke there. But, because of which his name Jambuka never got out of the Vedas and he remained called as Varuna because of that. Anyway, but all these the donkeys being thrown and all the fruits now started falling. And you, with Krishna, along with all the boys, started enjoying the fruits, right? Which is what they primarily came there for. And then you all relished on the fruits. And here, because the Dhenuka was also an Asura who was in the form of a donkey, the gods also then praise, saying that, the fruits of your incarnation is finally coming because you're getting rid of all of this Aghasura, Dhenukasura, all of those people one at a time. Tavavatarasya phalam murare, sanjatam adhyeti surair nutastvam satyam phalam jatamiheti hasi, balaihi, put is balais samam tala phalanya bhunktaha. That's one word, phalanya bhunktaha. So this through laughing through hasi along with the boys, you all enjoyed the sweet fruits which were there.
Rajesh, sorry. So the first line, Sanjatam Adhyeti Surair, split irukanga.
Surair Nutastvam.
Nutastvam. Okay, thank you.
Tavavatarasya phalam murare sanjatamadhyeti surair nutastvam satyam phalam jatamiheti hasi balai samam tala phalanya bhunktaha.
तवावतारस्य फलं मुरारे सञ्जातमद्येति सुरैर्नुतस्त्वं सत्यं बलं जातमिहेतिहासि बालैः समं तालफलान्यपुङ्क्ताः. तवावतारस्य फलं मुरारे सञ्जातमद्येति सुरैर्नुतस्त्वं सत्यं फलं जातमिहेतिहासि बालैः समं तालफलान्यपुङ्क्ताः.
तवावतारस्य फलं मुरारे सञ्जातमध्येति सुरैर्नुतस्त्वं सत्यं फलं जातमिहेतिहासि बालैः समं तालफलान्यभुङ्क्ताः. तवावतारस्य फलं मुरारे सञ्जातमध्येति सुरैर्नुतस्त्वं सत्यं फलं जातमिहेतिहासी भालैः समं थालफलान्यभुङ्क्ताः
मधुद्रवस्रन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं बहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्. I'll say the meaning together. Madhudrava srunti brihanti tani, put a plus, phalani medobhara bhrinti bhuktva. So that line is together. Triptaischa driptair bhavanam phalaugam, again put a plus. Bahad bhiragaha, put a ich sound to join. Bahad bhiragah khalu balakais tvam. So the first line is together, second line is together. Madhudravasrunti brihanti tani phalani medo bharabhranti bhuktva triptaischa driptair bhavanam phalaugam bahad viragah khalu balakaistvam.
Rajesh, bookla madathan போட்டிருக்கு மதுத்தா மது
Madhu,
திரவஸ்
yeah, madhu, sweet, and the madhu.
and பலானி மேதோ மேதோ பரவா மேதோ
Medo bhara.
பர okay okay
मधुद्रवश्रुन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो परभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च तृप्तैर्भवनं बलौकं वहत्पृका खलु बालकैस्त्वं.
The second line, bahad viragah.
எங்க இருக்குது?
And after second line, second half.
वहद्भिरागाः.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. मधुद्रवश्रुन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो परभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च तृप्तैर्भवनं बलौकं वहत्पिराखा खलु बालकैस्त्वम्.
मधुद्रवस्रन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेधो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं बहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्. मधुद्रवस्रन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेधो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च धृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं बहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्.
Then hato dhenuka ityupetya phalanyadhadbhir madurani lokaihi jayeti jiveti nuto vibhotvam marutpuradhishvara pahiroghat. So with this, now the Dhenuka was gone, so everybody could come back to the forest. There was no risk in going to the forest, and all these boys got tons of those fruits back home to everybody. And then everybody, praised Krishna and Balarama, saying, thanks for protecting the boys and all this. And it's a very small Dasakam. So they all came back, they all enjoyed the fruits. And that's so, so Guru Arpa, please, Pahi Rogat, please eradicate my ailments as well. Hato Dhenuka ityupetya, Phalanyadadbhir madhurani lokaihi jayeti jiveti nuto vibhotvam, marutpuradhishvara pahiroga. So they have said, may you live long, and thanked you for that. Hato dhenuka ityupetya phalanyadadbhir madhurani lokaihi jayeti jiveti nuto vibhotvam marutpuradhishvara pahiroghat.
Rajesh, on the second line, Falanya Dibava
Phalanyadadbhir.
Okay.
Second dadbhir.
हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य बलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नतो विभोत्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्. हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य बलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्.
Second line, nuto vibhotvam.
Oh, nuto vibhotam. Okay.
हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुरानि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्. हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुरानि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, so switch. So Vidya Medal, you can be a student. And Devi, you said you cannot be today, right? Okay, all right. Mrinalini, if you are available, you can be a student.
Yeah.
Okay, so 54, 55, 56 are all connected. So it's a Kaliya Nardanam, right? So it goes into three portions because it's a big incident that actually happens. So it's broken into three dashakams. The first dashakam is the Kaliyasya Yamuna Hride Nivasasya Karana Varnana. The reason why Kaliya even came over to the Yamuna river, that is dashakam 54. 55 is Krishna dancing on Kaliya. 56 is Krishna blessing Kaliya and his wives and all the family. So that's how it's broken into three. So stanza 1. Tvatsevotka saubharirnama purvam kalindhyantar dvadashabdam tapasyan meenavrate snehavan bhogalole tarkshyam sakshad aikshataagre kadachite. So long time back, not present when Krishna is there. So long time back, there was a rishi called Saubhari. So that rishi, he was meditating, like if you remember in Dashakam 90, when we saw Prachetas, they were meditating underwater for thousands of years. So similarly, this Saubhari was meditating under the river Yamuna, Kalindhi, at the bottom of the river for 12 years. He was in complete meditation. So first of all, it's even impossible to think how they can do that, but they do that. But at the same time, it also talks about how the mind can be very fickle. So while he had so much control that he could meditate under the water for 12 years, what happens is every time he started noticing patterns under the river. Like when you're in the same place for 12 years, you start seeing patterns which are happening there. So he started knowing which fish is who. He was able to recognize individual fish that were actually there, right? And he started once, what happened is a couple of those fish were mating and somehow his mind got distracted. So even though he was in so much control that he was under that, water and meditating, he got distracted by a couple of fish mating that he got other thoughts in his mind. So then there's a different story that happens of what he ends up doing. He ends up quitting all that meditation and, going to a king and marrying princess. Then he realizes that comes back. So that's a different story. But he's there, he gets attached to the fishes who are actually there. So one day it so happened that this the Garuda ends up coming there to that river. This Garuda, as a bird, as an eagle, eats both fishes. It also eats snakes. So it actually ends up coming to that Yamuna river one day to eat a lot of the fish. So Tvat Sevotkas Saubharir Nama Purvam. So that's what Purvam, long time back, comma. Kalindhyantar Dwadashabdham Tapasyan Meenavrate Snehavan Bhogalole, Tarkshyam Sakshat Aikshatagre. So you can break that word Sakshat and Aikshatagre. Tarkshyam Sakshat Aikshatagre Kadachit. Tvatsevotka Saubharirnama Purvam Kalindhyantar Dwadashabdham Tapasyan Meenavrate Snehavan Bhogalole Tarkshyam Sakshat Aikshatagre Kadachit.
त्वत्सेवोत्कः सौभरिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर् द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले तार्क्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित् त्वत्सेवोत्कः सौभरिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर् द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले तार्क्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्
हरिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले साक्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित् तत्सेवोत्तसौहरिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले साक्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्
त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चिज्जक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता. So two things are happening. One of them is he's getting distracted, right? Because he saw this fish being together and somehow that got him into him missing sensual pleasures, right? So even though he had so much control of meditating under the water, he got distracted by a mere couple of fishes, right? Shows kind of how the mind can be so fickle. The second thing, what happens is one day Garuda comes there and the Garuda comes and he eats a lot of the fish. So when he eats a lot of the fish, the head fish got eaten. And so Garuda leaves. Now, Saubari, like I said, he knows he's been there for 12 years. So he knows how all these fishes are all related, connected to each other. He sees all the struggle that these fishes are actually doing because of Garuda coming and eating this fish. So now he feels very sorry for this fish being eaten. And now for Garuda, this is his natural thing. It's as he eats, it eats fish, just like a lion can only survive by eating a deer. We feel sorry for the deer, but the lion will die if it doesn't eat the deer as well, right? So it's a very difficult scenario, right? But Saubari decides to step into how nature is evolving, right? So he tells Garuda that you cannot come to this Kalindi river and eat fish anymore. Okay, you're banned from eating fish here because he wants to protect the fish, right? Because he was getting so attached to the fish that he started intruding into how nature works. And then he tells Garuda, and because Saubari is a great rishi, he has so much power, he's been in so much meditation, he has a lot of yogic power, so nobody can kind of overrule him. So he says to Garuda, you are absolutely banned from coming and eating fish from Kalindi, from Yamuna river. And if you come, then you're going to lose your life, right? That is a curse he actually gives Garuda. Twadvaham tam sakshudham triksha sunum, meenam kanchij ijson kanchij jakshatam lakshayan saha taptaschitte shaptavanatra chetvam, jantun bhokta jivitam chapi mokta. So that natural, so when you kind of intrude into how this thing works, there are repercussions which are going to happen, right? When you come and try to intrude into this, which we'll see. Twadvaham tam sakshudham trikshasunum meenam kanchijakshatam lakshayan saha taptaschitte shaptavanatra chetvam jantun bhokta jivitam chapi mokta.
त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चिज्जक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चिज्जक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता
त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चिज्जक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तपश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चिज्जक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तपश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता.
Answer 3. Tasmin kale kaliyah kshvela darpat सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्तस्तद्दुरापं पयोगात्. So another parallel story. So then what happens is, in this region called Ramanaka Island, which people say it is modern Fiji. So there were a lot of snakes in that island. And one of the big snake that lived there was called Kalia. That Kalia had lots of hoods, right? And even if you just go simple search in Fiji, they worship a snake god, which resembles that snake with multiple hoods, which are actually there. So this Garuda, because he doesn't have, he goes away from Yamuna. He is not able to access Pishi. He ends up going to that region once. In the Ramanaka region, he goes there once. And there, Garuda also eats snakes. So he used to go there and he used to eat a lot of the snakes there. But what used to happen was, he used to eat some snakes, discard some snakes, right? They used to left uneaten. So they felt like, a lot of these snakes are going just unnecessarily getting killed. So what the snakes decided is, we will offer you a snake every time, every month or every week, whenever you come, we'll offer you one. So that way you don't unnecessarily end up killing it. So they agreed to that, and Garuda ends up doing that. He gets offered a snake. But snakes also eat snakes. Some snakes eat other snakes. So this Kalia, which is a very poisonous snake, ends up eating the snakes which were kept for Garuda in Ramanaka Island. So then what happens is, Garuda gets offended by that, and then he ends up, because it's a powerful, big-sized eagle, it ends up, it's a small fight that actually happens between Garuda and the Kalia, and Kalia loses that fight. So then he decides that I want to get away from this Ramanaka Island. Now, somehow, I don't know how, but he realizes that Garuda cannot come over to Kalindi. So this Kalia, which is in Ramanaka Island, ends up coming all the way over to Yamuna over a period of time, and then he essentially relocates over. So that's how this Kalia, the snake, along with his entire family, ends up relocating over to Yamuna. Because of the curse of the Saubari, he knows Garuda cannot come. So to escape from him, he ends up coming here. Tasmin Kale Kaliyaha. So you have to say that Visarga, because the Ksha is coming later. Kaliyaha Kshveladarpat. So who was very proud, and he was powerful and proud because of the poison that he had with Kalia. Kshveladarpat, comma. Sarparatehe, put a ich sound. Sarparateh kalpitam bhagamashnan tena krodat tvat padambhoja bhaja, comma, paksha kshiptas tad durapam payogat. Tasmin kale kaliyah kshvela darpat sarparateh kalpitam bhagamashnan tena krodhat tvat padambhoja bhaja paksha kshiptas tad durapam payogat.
तस्मिन् काले कालीयः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजपाज पक्षिक्षिप्तस्तद्दुरापं पयोगात्.
Fourth line, first word. Paksha kshiptas.
पक्षक्षिप्तस्. तस्मिन् काले कालीयः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्तस्तद्दुरापं पयोगात्.
तस्मिन् काले कालीयः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पाराते कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्तस्तद्दुरापं पयोगात्. तस्मिन् काले कालीयः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पाराते कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्तस्तद्दुरापं पयोगात्.
That's a four. Ghore tasmin surajani ravase तीरे वृक्षा विक्षताः क्षेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्. So finally now a scenario where Kalia has come over to Yamuna. Garuda cannot come to Yamuna, so he's somewhere. So that's the current state, right? So now you come to the present day Yamuna. Now this Kalia, along with his family, is not literally in the waters of Yamuna river, because if he was there, that entire Yamuna river would have been poisoned, right? And the poison would travel all over to Mathura, Vrindavan, everywhere. So he's not literally in the Yamuna river. So when these rivers are flowing, it actually creates some tributaries and small regions of water, right? So he's in this a big portion of water which is from the Yamuna river, but it is not the actual Yamuna flowing river, right? That's the actual thing. So he's not actually in Yamuna river. So he's in this water body which is on the side. Now, because Kalia is there and because he's so poisonous, what was happening was that water body became poisonous because of Kalia being there. And then there were these vapors of poison which were going up, that even when birds used to fly over that water body, they used to die from the fumes and the birds used to fall down, right? Because of that, that entire region had become very poisonous. And the wind that was taking the poison over, that even the trees and the other things which were on the banks of that water body had all completely dried out. And any animal or anything, fish or whatever comes to that region, all die because of the poison there. So because of this, that entire area, one region of that thing was completely, filled with poison, and animals and creatures were actually dying. So you, Krishna, you come to know about it, and then Karunyadram, you are, filled with compassion for all the other things which are dying. And there'll be an interesting conversation that happens between Krishna
Rajesh,
and Kali.
question. முன்னாடி ஏன் இல்லாம இப்ப திடீர்னு யமுனாக்கு வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் மட்டும் ஏன் பாய்சன் வருது?
And Minnadi, it was in the ocean. It was in the ocean, in the Fiji area. It was there in the ocean. But inga Yamuna la vandu Minnadi lende irukku. That poison is already there. It is just that now the time has come for Krishna to go there and go take action on it. If your question is why was it not there previously, it was there previously also. That's why I'm saying it is not in the actual Yamuna river. It's in a water body adjacent to the Yamuna river.
Oh, idinalala. Okay, சரி.
I know that's why it's not, because if it is in the Yamuna river, wherever Yamuna river goes, the poison would flow, right? So that's why it says Kalindi very loosely, because the water body which is adjacent to it, which is formed from the Yamuna river, water must have gone into it and formed out a lake. Think of it as like a big lake or whatever there. That's how it is. It's a separate water body, not the actual Yamuna river, right?
Yeah, sorry for the distraction.
No. Please. Absolutely. And now you might ask, a snake is always poisonous. It's its natural tendency, right, to be poisonous. It's not intentionally killing all these birds, right? That conversation is going to come later, so we'll defer that conversation. So anyway, so all these things were actually dying there, and unnecessarily the birds flying were dying. So Krishna, you felt very compassionate about all of those things, and so you decided to take action.
Rajesh, I'm sorry, I just have a question. So when you say Mount Fuji, you mean the one in Japan?
No. Fiji.
Fiji. Oh, okay, got it.
Fiji.
Okay,
Ramanaka. That's the Fiji island, which is there in the Pacific. I'm assuming that is it, okay? There's no reference to it. It just says Ramanaka. And when you say, where is Ramanaka? It says Fiji. And Fiji also, there's a lot of people worshipped snakes in that region. So there's kind of a little bit of correlation, right, of what this is potentially.
Yeah, pretty interesting. We'll read.
Yeah. You can
during Sankalpam and all, when we do the Sankalpam, they say Ramanaka Varshe and all that, right? So is it the same one?
Same thing, yeah.
Okay.
Ghore tasmin Surajanira vase, Tire vriksha bikshataha. Again, Visarga, you have to say that because Shvela, the poison is coming next. Shvela vegat. Pakshivrataha, put a F. Pakshivrata Peturabre patantaha, Karunyadram Twan manastena jatam.
ராஜேஷ் ரெண்டு இடத்துலயும் விசர்கா சொல்லணுமா செகண்ட் லைன்ல?
இல்ல, பிக்ஷதாஹா அது மட்டும் தான் விசர்கா.
அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வரதுக்கு வேணாமா? விக்ஷாஹான்னு வருது.
இல்ல, அங்க விக்ஷாஹா அது அந்த because va is coming, there should be normally no visarga. So if you have it, you can remove that.
Okay.
घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा विक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्
घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा वीक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्.
Vidya, second line. Vikshataha Shvelavegat.
घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा वीक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्.
घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा विक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्रातः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्. घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा विक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्.
That's okay. काले तस्मिन्नेकदासीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तम् त्वय्युद्दाम ग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्मतप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोयम्. So one day, where these boys, because they don't know what is there, but Krishna knows where Kaliya is. So one day you decide to take the boys and the cows grazing towards that area intentionally. And here it says Ekada, without Sirapani, so without Balarama, right? Like I said, the previous Dashakam, he said you went along with Balarama because Dhenuka Vadam was supposed to be done by Balarama. So here Krishna is going to, same thing happened in Aghasura, if you remember. Balarama didn't come because when you're dealing with Balarama is incarnation of the snake anyways, right? Adishesha. So here Krishna is going to step on the snake. So that's why initially Balarama doesn't come. So anyway, so we go without Balarama. And then you all go there, and then it's a very hot day. Everybody's thirsty, everybody's tired, and out of all this grazing. So naturally, the boys and the cows, they see this water body. Like I said, it's not River Yamuna, so they see a water body there, and they think, okay, let's go and drink some water from there. And they all end up going and drinking water or taking water. They're seeing this fume coming, but they don't know what it is, and they end up drinking the water from that lake. Kale tasmin ekada Sira Parnim, and then put a plus, Muktva Yate Yamunam Kananantam. So that's together. Tvayuddama Grishma Bhishmoshma Tapta. I think some books have Taptaha. Just remove that Visarga if you have that. Tapta, comma. Gopala Vyapiban Shvela Toyam. Shvela is poison, Toyam is water. So they end up drinking the poisoned water.
Can you do the third line again?
Sorry, third line. Tvayuddhama, so double the. Tvayuddhama, Grishma, Bhishmoshma, Tapta.
And Rajesh, sorry, I need the first line. You said Sira Panim.
Panim.
And then the next step start Uktava.
Muktva. Then the Sirapanim Muktva. So not bringing Sirapani. So eliminating Muktva is liberating, or not bringing Sirapani. That's why the time is together. So Sirapanim Muktva.
And fourth line Pala Palaha irukku.
அங்க விசர்கா வேண்டாம். அது some books individually see all of these words individually means they have a visarga, but when it is written with other words, sometimes visarga doesn't come. So you can just remove that one there, yeah. And Bhuvana, I know you probably joined. I think that we had a time zone change last week. You probably didn't realize it. That's why it's a 1 hour. We started at 7:30. You off by an hour now.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, Rajesh. Yes, I didn't realize. Yes.
No, I didn't realize you are joining from UK. I forgot to mention. Yeah. So So you're already like an hour and 10 minutes into the class. So same with Hari, you also, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So
Rajesh, just
yeah.
one more question. Is there a comma after Muktva?
No, that whole two lines are together.
Okay, thank you.
काले तस्मिन् एकदा सीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तम् त्वय्युद्दामग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोऽयम्.
काले तस्मिन्नेकदा क्षीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तम् त्वय्युद्धामग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपालव्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोऽयम्. काले तस्मिन्नेकदा क्षीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तम् त्वय्युद्धामग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपालव्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोऽयम्.
काले तस्मिन् एकदा क्षीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तम् त्वय्युद्धामग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपालव्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोऽयम्. काले तस्मिन् एकदा क्षीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तम् त्वय्युद्धामग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपालव्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोऽयम्.
Answer 6. Nashya जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातलेतान् विश्वान् पश्यन् अच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः. So the cows and the boys end up drinking that poisoned water. Naturally, they're going to faint. The poison is going to take effect. So they end up falling down, right? Completely fainting because of the poison of the water, which is actually there. But Krishna knows it is no mistake of the boys, right? He took them there intentionally. And these boys and these cows trust Krishna completely, right? And whatever he says, they actually follow. So because of that, you are Achyuta, means the one who never lets anybody go, right? Who is always Chuta is to let somebody go, like lose the grip. Achyuta is the one who will not let you lose the grip, who always holds on to you. So you being Achyuta, you then through your Sri Katakshahi, through just by looking at these boys and these cows, you then bring them back over to life. So what they had fainted, they then get rescued because of that from you. Nashya Jivan Vichyutan Kshmataletan, Vishwan Pashyan Achyuta. Say it together, but it's Pashyan Achyuta, two different words. We'll take an in and a na sound there. Pashyan Achyuta Tvam Dayardraha Prapyo Pantam Jivayam Asita Drak ik sound. Drak, comma. Piyushambhor Varshibihi, put a ish. Varshibhish Sri Katakshahi.
Piyusham porn முடியணுமா?
Bho, pass on. Piyushambhor Varshibhish Sri Katakshahi.
ஒரு இரு சவுண்ட் இருக்கா ஆஃப்டர் போ?
இல்ல
போதான்.
போக்கு அப்புறம் இல்ல, வக்கு அப்புறம் இருக்கு. பீயூஷாம்போ வர்ஷிபிஷ் ஸ்ரீ கட்டாக்ஷைஹி. நஷ்ய ஜீவான் விச்யுதான் க்ஷ்மாதலேதான் விஸ்வான் பஷ்யன் அச்சுதத்வம் தயார்த்ரஹ प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः.
नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातलेतान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः. नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातलेतान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः.
नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातलेतान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तत्रात् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् मातलेतान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तत्रात् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः.
Let's see if we can finish the next four quickly. So we'll just repeat one time. Kim kim jato harsha varshatirekah, comma, sarvangeshvit yuttita. So that word, we are not breaking it. So it's one long word. Sarvangeshvit yuttita gopa sanghaha drishtwagre tvam tvatkritam tad vidantah, put a visarga comma. Next line is goes away. Twama lingan drishta nana prabhavaha. So I'll say the meaning later. Kim kim jato harsha varshatirekah sarvangeshvit yuttita gopasanghaha drishtwagre tvam tvatkritam tadvidantah twama lingan drishta nana prabhavaha.
किं किं जातो हर्षवर्षातिरेकः सर्वाङ्गेष्वित्युत्थिता गोपसङ्घाः दृष्ट्वाग्रे त्वां त्वत्कृतं तद्विदन्तः त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टनाना प्रभावाः.
Yeah, go ahead, Mrinalini.
शातिरेकः सर्वाङ्गेष्वित्युत्थितः किं किं जातो हर्षवर्षातिरेकः सर्वाङ्गेष्वित्युत्थितः गोपसङ्गाः दृष्ट्वाग्रे त्वां त्वत्कृतं तद्विदन्तं त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टना प्रभावाः.
Third line, tadvidantaha, visarga. Gavaschaivam labda. Yeah, I think there's some lag, I think, between yours and ours. Gavaschaivam labda jivaha. Again, the visarga has to be said there. Jivaha kshanena, comma. Spita nandas tvam cha drishtva purastat. Draga vavruhu, put a is, draga vavrus sarvato harsha bashpam, put a plus, vyamunchantyo mandam, breaking at that ma, mandam udhyan ninadaha. Gavaschaivam labdha jivaha kshanena spita nandastvam cha drishtva purastat. Draga vavrus sarvato harsha bashpam vyamunchantyo mandam udhyan ninadaha.
गावश्चैवं लब्धजीवाः क्षणेन स्फीतानन्दास्त्वां च दृष्ट्वा पुरस्तात् द्रागावव्रः सर्वतो हर्षबाष्पं व्यामुञ्चन्त्यो मन्दम् उद्यन्निनादाः.
गावश्चैवं लब्धजीवाः क्षणेन स्फीतानन्दास्त्वं च दृष्ट्वा पुरस्तात् द्रागावव्रुः सर्वतो हर्षबाष्पं व्यामुञ्चन्त्यो मन्दम् उद्यन्निनादाः.
Romanchoyam sarvato naha, put a ish there, nash sharire, comma, bhuyas yantaha, put a ih, each sound, bhuyas yantah, kachid ananda, you can break at the da if you want, kachid ananda murcha, ascharyoyam kshvela vego mukunde, put a plus, tyukto gopair nandito bandito bhuhu. So those last two lines together. Romanchoyam sarvato nasharire bhuyasyantah kachidananda murcha Ascharyoyam kshvela vego mukunde tyukto gopayat nandito vandito bhuhu.
Rajeshji, on the third line, Mukundeti edirku.
The mukundeti ukto, it must have come, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a sandhi. So that's why it's mukunde, the ti and u becomes tyu.
Okay.
So mukunde yukto.
Thank you.
Okay, that's why we're joining those two lines.
रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो नः शरीरे भूयस्यन्तः काचिदानन्दमूर्च्छा आश्चर्योऽयं क्ष्वेलवेगो मुकुन्देत्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः
रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो नः शरीरे भूयस्तन्तः काचिदानन्दमूर्च्छा आश्चर्योऽयं क्ष्वेलवेगो मुकुन्देत्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः
Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam, comma, mugdha pangair. So breaking at that ra. Mugdha pangair asta rogams tanoshi. So that ra iranda asta rogams tanoshi. Tadrig bhuta spita karunya bhuma, comma, rogat paya vayu gehadhi. Some books have vasa, some books have natha. So we'll just, both means the same. We'll stick with natha. So vayu gehadi natha. Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam mugdha pangairasta rogam stanoshi tadruk bhuta spita karunya bhuma rogat paya vayu gehadhinatha.
Raj, you're going to say the meaning of this or?
I'm going to say at the end, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
10 minutes, I'll say the last four, yeah.
एवं भक्तान् मुक्तजीवानपि त्वं मुग्धपाङ्गैरस्तरोगांस्तनोषि तादृग्भूतस्फीतकारुण्यभूमा रोगात् पाया वायुगेहाधिनाथ
एवं भक्तान् मुक्तजीवानपि त्वं मुग्धापाङ्गैरस्तरोगांस्तनोषि तादृग्भूतस्फीतकारुण्यभूमा रोगात् पाया वायुगेहाधिवासा
Gehadhinatha, just change it to natha, the last word.
Oh.
Instead of vasa, just change it to natha. Okay, so last four stanzas, right? So yeah, so the boys, they, with your kataksham, they all wake up, they come back from the faint, right? From when they had fainted. So when the boys suddenly wake up, they feel like, they know something happened. They know there's some collapsed, and now they're suddenly looking and they're back up, and then they see Krishna standing in front. So the boys all know what Krishna has done in the past. So they know something happened. And Krishna is the one who's actually come and rescued us, right? So they always have that confidence and trust in Krishna. So that's when they all go and alingam, they all go and embrace Krishna and thank him for actually saving him. And even the cows which had actually fallen, which woke up, it also realizes, right? And that's when it says in the 8th stanza that the cows go moo in a very low voice. So they had harsha bhashpam. So they had tears of joy coming from their eyes. The cows also had, and they also went in and stood next to Krishna and kissed him, and then started moving in a low voice, kind of trying to thank him as well. And the boys then felt, saying that somehow whatever happened, Krishna, we all feel a sense of extra energy inside of us, right? So it's like an intoxication, so they feel like probably we drank the poisonous water, you saved us, but we all are feeling so energized. And then they're thanking Krishna, saying something. This is probably very, marvelous, right? This poison probably has a lot of energy or whatever. They're all feeling very ecstatic and high on that, and they thank Krishna. So with that, this Dasakam comes to an end. Bhattaripad says at the end, in this manner, Guruvarappa, your devotees who were so devoted to you, who ended up consuming poison, you somehow rescued them and saved them, the boys and the cows and everything. So you are able to bring them back to life. Not that they died, but then you rescued them and brought them back. Similarly, please eradicate my ailments also. So with that, this just comes to an end of how Kaliya ended up reaching there and what happens to this boys and Krishna. And the next one is when Krishna goes and dances on Kaliya at the next Dasakam. कृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः। सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावधिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rajesh.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rajesh.
Rajesh.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rajesh.
Thank you.
Bye.